Good morning, everyone. I'm Dawn Morningstar, along with Sean Vougeot. The two of us are delighted to welcome you today. We are the two co-founders of New World Women, and today's Wisdom Series teaching will be a special one. It's featuring luminary and oh so much more, Dr. Valorie Prahl. Her topic today is Body Messengers, Turning Conflict into Understanding. And Body Messengers is also the name of her amazing book, which we will talk about a little bit later. We are recording this session, as we do all of our sessions, and it will be available for replay in the members' replay library on New World Women's site. Are you a member of our sisterhood yet? It's affordable, easy to join, and by becoming a member, you're supporting the work that we are doing in New World Women. We would be very happy to welcome you into our community of high vibe women. During today's teaching, you can place your questions or comments into chat, or if prompted, you can raise your hand, unmute, and share. It is my pleasure to introduce Doctor of Chiropractic, clinical nutritionist, and author of Body Messengers, also founder of Healing Synthesis, Dr. Valorie Prahl. She is, as I said, a doctor of chiropractic, a certified clinical nutritionist. She's been in active practice for over 35 years. She has served on professional licensing boards and state association boards, providing guidance to healthcare practitioners on integrative approaches to healthcare leadership. Her frustration, and we've talked about this, with the typical medical approach of suppressing symptoms without finding their underlying cause, set her on a journey to discover solutions. Val is fascinated by the expanding field of epigenetics, the study of DNA, and how each person's DNA can be positively affected. Welcome, Dr. Val.
Thank you, Dawn. I'm going to pull up some of my notes now, just so I don't forget what I was going to say.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. I've also studied transformative medicine, compassionate communication, and shamanism. And so it helps me to figure out what I'm going to present. And today we're going to explore conflict and the nature of conflict and what it can teach us, those challenges and stresses that are necessary to address if you're going to live a healthier life. Conflict is part of being human. It shows up in our bodies, our relationships, our work, and our world. Each challenge we face invites us to grow, to see more clearly, and to live more authentically. In Body Messengers, we look at conflict not as something to fear or avoid, but as a living conversation between the soul and the body. Every tension, illness, or breakdown carries a message, and through the lens of the planetary archetypes, we can understand these messages more deeply. As the world moves faster, change keeps happening. I believe it's important to understand how the planetary archetypes work within us. When conflict appears, whether in our bodies, our emotions, or our relationships, it's not an enemy to conquer, but a teacher to listen to. Each planetary messenger speaks its own language, pointing us towards parts of our story parts of ourselves that are ready to grow. Let me share a story. Marie came to see me for menopause symptoms. She was having hot flashes that were not letting her sleep. She woke up in the night drenched and cold because she'd thrown off her covers. During the day, she was struggling with constipation. She felt like a hot mess. I gave her some products for menopause, a drainage product for the hot flashes, and some magnesium for her constipation. Because she had stress and anxiety, I also gave her a DNA kit so we could look at the pathways that would make her feel anxious and what we could do about it. After about 4 or 5 weeks, I got the results back. Without going into all the results, I found she needed activated B complex, extra B12, some additional minerals, and vitamin D with K. Once she had the supplement, she began to feel better. At least the hot flashes and anxiety were more under control. She shared with me that she was dealing with multiple generations in her house, and it was really, really stressful. Her mom lived with her and needed frequent help. Her daughter, old enough to live on her own, was living with her until she could save enough to buy a house. Then her brother, who was getting a divorce, came to live with her. He was stressed and anxious too. Now her husband, needing to have her as a sounding board because his job was going through a lot of changes, was always talking with her, and she couldn't seem to find enough time or space for herself and to be alone. She was feeling trapped. I knew she was having trouble with the water elements, the moon and Pluto. Water is known as the universal solvent. It dissolves more substances than any other liquid. The abundance of water on our planet sustains life by moderating temperature, keeping it within a narrow and livable range. Because water warms and cools slowly, it stabilizes the environment and makes Earth hospitable. Water also cleanses and balances other elements. It purifies air, quenches fire, and softens or reshapes the earth. Rivers and streams carve deep canyons over time, reminding us of water's quiet but persistent power. Yet even water needs structure, a riverbed, a shoreline, a container. In this way, water depends on earth just as life depends on water. In the human body, water plays a vital role. We are composed of roughly 60% water. On an energetic level, water is associated with our emotions and the flow of feeling. Words that express the essence of water include intuitive, reflective, transcendent, emotional, sensitive, mysterious, and refreshing. The moon, as the closest celestial body to Earth, governs the tides, both oceanic and emotional. It reflects our inner world, our moods, needs, and the capacity to nurture ourselves and others. The moon in balance allows us to feel deeply and move gracefully with life cycles. When out of balance, we may become reactive, withdrawn, or overly identified with our feelings. Pluto, the farthest known planetary archetype, rules the deeper waters, the unconscious, the buried, and the transformative. While the moon governs emotional flow, Pluto rules emotional depth. Together, they represent the full range of human feeling, from the gentle rise and fall of the tide to the dark, pressurized depths where true transformation occurs. When balanced, water allows for compassion, intuition, and renewal. When it becomes excessive or stagnant, we may feel trapped in moodiness, dependency, or emotional overwhelm. Yet even these darker waters have purpose. Pluto reminds us that transformation happens through surrender. Balanced water heals through feeling. Imbalanced water floods and consumes. Moon has to do with nurturing and reflecting and is related to female body parts, the stomach and the bladder. Marie was nurturing others, but she had very little time to nurture herself and certainly no time for reflecting. Pluto has to do with metamorphosis, dramatic emotional shifts, and sweeping lifestyle changes, but she was stuck in resignation and even felt resentful. It has to do with the colon. I guided Marie through an emotional clearing from her childhood, releasing the resentment she'd been carrying for years. As those old feelings lifted, she was able to see her situation from new perspectives. Together, we talked about what was in her power to change. While Marie couldn't alter the housing situation, she could choose how she responded to it. She realized she could ask her brother to help their mother more often and allow herself time alone in her room to rest and recharge. The insight brought her hope. Knowing the situation was only temporary, she found she could meet it with acceptance and grace. Let me share another story, a personal one. It was almost Christmas, and I was working as usual late on a Wednesday night. 2 friends came over for dinner, so I thought I'd have a drink or two after adjusting them. The night went on, and I think I drank more than I intended, and I fell into bed. The next morning, I woke up and nothing was the same. I was confused and I was struggling, trying to find the right words. I knew what I meant, but the words just didn't come. The body doesn't punish. It whispers, then speaks, then shouts until it's heard. The signs were there, but I wasn't listening. I had had a stroke. It stayed like this for some time. I was lucky. I didn't have muscle weakness on one side or trouble smiling. At first, I was not really sure I had a stroke. I didn't have to go to the hospital, and I was able to dress myself. Fortunately, it was Christmas time, and I was taking a 2-week vacation shortly thereafter. So I rested and worked on my words. It was slow, but gradually I improved, and eventually most of my language came back. I'm still very slow to find the right words, and sometimes I just can't. I know why I had the stroke. Strokes are a sudden, sometimes frightening change to a situation. I discovered that I needed a surprise, a wake-up call. It is related to Uranus, a planetary archetype related to broken bones, ankles, stuttering, heart attack, and of course, stroke. As Henry Miller put it, our own body possesses a wisdom which we who inhabit the body lack. Uranus belongs to the element of air. We often forget about air that surrounds us because it's invisible until it stirs as wind, tornado, or hurricane, sweeping through and changing everything in its path. Air represents movement, thought, and communication. It connects us all, even when we can't see it. Words that express the energy of air include contact, connection, openness, harmony, curiosity, spontaneity, idealism, innovation, originality, and collaboration. When air is balanced, it brings inspiration, clarity, and freedom. But when imbalanced, it can become chaotic or ungrounded. Those with excessive or distorted air energy may present it as inconsistency, opportunism, vanity, indecision, or rebellion for its own sake. Uranus, the planetary ruler of Earth, air's higher octave, embodies originality, laughter, and sudden revelation. It represents awakening, the jolt that breaks through old patterns and opens us to new possibility. Its influence can be liberating and brilliant, but also unpredictable and disruptive. I experienced Uranus energy firsthand when a sudden, quick-acting stroke changed everything in an instant. Though the experience was devastating, it also became a powerful teacher. It forced me to stop, to breathe, and to sit with my feelings. In that stillness, I found a new kind of freedom. I just finished writing Body Messengers, and yet, after the stroke, it felt like I was beginning again. This time with a clearer voice, a deeper breath, and a renewed sense of purpose. The book explores the nature of conflict, how it emerges, how we can work through it, and how the planetary archetypes mirrored different forms of conflict and their corresponding physical expressions. As I healed, I thought about conflict and what to do about it. I never wanted to go through this again. What I learned, I will share with you. So by the end of this video, you'll have 3 powerful tools to shift how you experience conflict. You will learn how to quiet your mind quickly and efficiently. You will learn a way to communicate when feeling overwhelmed, and you will discover that the power of reduction will help you deal with conflict.
Yes.
Everyone has conflict. There are genetic problems inherited from our parents, including ancestral patterns for emotions, as well as certain illnesses or diseases. There are food and medication challenges, including the foods we eat and the medication side effects. There are environmental toxins, including but not limited to home cleaning products, air fresheners, personal care products, and of course, exposure to heavy metals. There are also physical conflicts from all causes, including repetitive motions and poor ergonomic positions. There are also spiritual, mental, emotional, or relationship stressors, and these are the real boogers. The world is changing at a dizzying pace, leaving many of us unsure which way to turn. Blame and division run deep. Right against left, left against right, and the strain seeps into our relationships. Some of us lash out in frustration while others withdraw, hopefully to find a moment of peace amid the turmoil. Most of us really don't want to face any of these stressors. We put on a happy mask or hide behind our multiple screens. Some of us self-medicate with sugar, alcohol, or drugs, making the problem worse, but at least we feel numb to the feelings of dissatisfaction and frustration. We feel as if the world is out to get us. These conflicts begin to live inside of our bodies and become something different, an ache, some indigestion, a feeling of sadness or anxiety, or a screaming pain, or in my case, a stroke. How many times have you heard this from your friends, clients, or even out of your own mouth? It's hell to grow old. My doctor says I have to live with it. This pain is killing me. If you've been in practice as long as I have, you hear it 2, 3, 5 times a day. Patient goes to the medical doctor who rarely ever sees anyone healthy, doesn't even know that health exists, and the patient is told that all of the symptoms he or she is feeling is just normal aging. Here, take this medication and you won't notice it anymore. Let's say you do have the digestive trouble or the headache. Try to get to the cause of the symptom. Dig deep into the things that are bothering you. Do you have too much on your mind? Are you trying to figure out how or why to do something? Are you trying to control a situation that can't be controlled? Perhaps, just perhaps, the digestive tract and the headache are there to help you figure out the whys and the hows. Many of us try to fix these pains by covering them up with medications. I'm not telling you not to do that, but the real issue is actually the symptom. It is the symptoms that will help us deal with challengers and stressors. Your symptoms are not your enemies. They are messengers guiding you back into balance. Instead of figuring out how to control a situation or an event or why you can't get that coworker to change, perhaps it's time to release from outcomes and just let the situation resolve itself. Dr. Rudiger Dahlke, my mentor, puts it this way. Once you understand the difference between illness and symptom, your approach to illness becomes transformed. No longer is the symptom an enemy to resist and destroy. Instead, you discover in the symptom a partner that can help you see what you lack and overcome your illness. At that point, the symptom becomes a teacher, helping you take responsibility for the growth of consciousness through one that can show severity, because illness knows only one goal, to make us whole. Fear, discomfort, or a busy life may keep individuals from adopting a mindful state where it is possible to do the internal listening and reflecting. It's important to stop, become mindful and present to the moment, and go into the feeling to search out the message from within. So I'm going to teach you a key concept here. It's how to quiet your mind and make healthy decisions. Suspend your expectation and curiosity and come into the present moment. Yawn mindfully. Another one of my mentors, the one who taught me compassionate communication, Mark Waldman, says to start everything with a yawn. We yawn, mammals yawn, even babies in the womb yawn. So take this moment and stretch and yawn mindfully. Do it again. And this time, roll your neck around. Let's do it again. And it feels good. I want you to rub your hands together slowly if it feels good, or if it feels good. Or you can hug a pillow or a stuffed animal, but just rub your hands together. Now, let's do it again. This takes you out of the default mode of your brain, the busy part of your brain that has tons of thoughts, and into the salience mode. The salience mode is in the middle of your brain and is fairly small. It is from your salience mode that you can shift to make choices and decisions. The executive mode, or to just be, the default mode. Let's yawn and stretch one more time. This works just as well as meditation, and it takes less time. So you can stay, if we're in the executive mode of the brain, our brains get really tired. We can only stay there for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we need to rest and mind wander. So now if it feels good, rub your hands together slowly and just yawn again. Take everything into the depths of your soul, into the deepest reaches of your psyche. This is where the magic happens. This is the place where you'll sort out what you feel and determine the best actions moving forward. This is also where you hear the call of the divine feminine. The divine feminine is a spiritual and archetypal concept that represents the creative, intuitive, nurturing, and receptive forces of existence. It tells us to be in touch with our heart's desire. The counterpart to the divine feminine is the divine masculine, which symbolizes action, logic, and structure. It isn't about gender, but about energy and balance within all people and life. In nature, masculine and feminine energies are balanced. The feminine seed is planted in the earth, waiting for the right conditions of rain and warmth that allow the masculine energies of assertiveness and bold aggression to crack open the seed and shoot those tendrils out of the earth and into the light. Every human being carries both feminine and masculine aspects. Harmony comes when those two are in balance. We create our own reality, our own interpretation of what's happening to us and for us. Every challenge is a doorway into your strength. We use our masculine aspects to deal with conflict, aggression, and challenges. The divine masculine brings focus, direction, and manifestation. Conflicts and challenges invite action, even when the outcome is unknown. Making a positive choice is an emboldened, assertive act. Increasing awareness and learning about the power within to choose a new path with better personal outcomes is empowering, energizing, and emphatic. Speaking up and telling others what is wanted or needed is brave and confident. Setting boundaries for time and energy is firm, insistent, and courageous. Dealing with what is not working in life openly and despite fear is a decidedly aggressive act. A conflict can be as simple as eating a piece of fruit rather than the donut. A challenge could be going for a walk rather than sitting with the phone scrolling social media. In both cases, the conflict lies in making the choice that one knows will be detrimental to health versus making the choice that adds to healthy living. When I had my stroke, I wasn't allowing my authentic self-expression. It had been happening a long time and I thought I'd taken care of it. I put on the doctor mask each day before going to see patients. I put on other masks to deal with my life. The people in my life, my personal mirror, are those who have resistance to change and facing their own conflicts. The resistance to making changes had been in me all along, and I wasn't able to receive my own resistance. This is related to the sun archetype and authentic self-expression. This archetype has to do with the heart, circulatory system, and eyes. Our hearts want us to find our personal rhythm and balance. It's easy to be hard on the self, forcing the brain and body to follow specific rhythms that leave no room for ease and flow. These rhythms can be imposed on us by others or by self-imposed obligation. I yawned and stretched and rubbed my hands together, and I figured out what I'd been doing and what I needed to change. I needed to stay present in the present moment instead of drinking too much. I talked all the time, but not about things that mattered to me, and I was gaining weight instead of expanding into areas that grew my soul. My lower back and hips were achy too, which had to do with feeling supported and forward momentum. I needed to share with others my troubles so that I would develop a community of those who can help and those who hold space for my feelings. This is related to the Jupiter archetype. Jupiter is about expansion and soul growth, and the associated body parts are liver, legs, and hip joints. Your soul is fluent in the language of transformation. Your task is simply to listen. I listened and I changed. Change is not about becoming someone new, but about unfolding in who you were always meant to be. Transformation happens when we stop resisting what the body is trying to tell us and allow its wisdom to lead us back into balance. Every symptom, every discomfort carries a message, a whisper from the deeper self, asking to be heard. For me, the body began to speak more loudly, reminding me that exhaustion, pain, and illness are not punishments, but invitations. And that's why I lost my spot. They ask us to realign with the rhythms of the soul, to rest, to breathe, and to remember that self-care is sacred, not selfish. So I chose to work less and step into communities where I could share what truly matters: truth, healing, and connection. In doing so, I began to open more fully into my soul's calling. Body messengers, I learned again, is the realization that the body's voice is not separate from the spirit, but is its most honest expression. When we listen to our bodies with compassion, we participate in our own evolution. The language of transformation becomes clear. It's the heartbeat of the soul, reminding us again and again that we are designed to heal, to grow, and to return to wholeness. This practice is just the beginning. As we move into the second part of this teaching, we'll go further beneath the surface. You'll uncover how to bring these tools into your daily life and experience powerful practices I normally only offer to my patients and students. Together, we'll explore the 10-10 game, a simple yet profound practice that can bring deeper connection and harmony to all your relationships. We'll also journey into the power of reduction, the Saturn archetype, letting go of what no longer serves you. You can live with clarity, focus, and what you find truly essential. Keep exploring the messages of your body and soul, and you'll continue to discover new insights that transform awareness into wisdom.